When it comes to my smart home, there are tons of bridges and gateways I use to be able to get all of my systems to be able to work together. Within my smart home, I'm able to use Amazon, Google, and Apple. Although Apple HomeKit is my primary smart home system, I'm still able to interact and control everything else using any of the other smart assistants. In order to do this, I have leveraged hubs and bridges from various brands and various manufacturers as well. In this video, I'm going to be covering some of the hubs and bridges I have within my smart home and how I use them to be able to get a lot of things done within my smart home. Starting out with number one is my Apple HomePod Mini. My HomePod Mini is my primary hub for all of my Apple controlled devices. The hub also acts as my thread border router. So essentially any device that speaks thread uses my HomePod Mini to be able to talk to the thread network. Like my nano leaf strips, they all thread and they talk to the network using my Apple HomePod Mini. My Apple HomePod Mini also acts as my Matter hub as well. So I'm able to connect any Matter device like my Casa TP-Link smart switches using my Apple HomePod Mini. For my Google smart home system, I have a ton of Google Home speakers around my home. Now, this was the first system I started out with, so I went crazy at the time and bought smart speakers all around the house. I even have the Lenovo Smart Display as well. Now, this is my primary control system when it comes to my doorbell because I do use the Nest Hello doorbell. So whenever someone pushes the doorbell in front of my house, it announces across the entire house, and then the display pops up on my smart display on my kitchen. However, I'm also able to integrate all of the speakers into my Apple HomeKit setup. So I'm able to view my Nest Hello doorbell on my HomeKit setup using Home Assistant. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. For all of my Google Home speakers, for those of you that are conversant with Apple, you know that in order to be able to play stuff around multiple speakers, you use something called AirPlay. And within Android ecosystem, it's called the Chromecast. I'm with Apple, but I'm still able to AirPlay into all of the speakers using AirPlay. I use another bridge that I installed on my Home Assistant called the AirPlay app. What it does is it takes all of my Chromecast devices and acts as a bridge between the two of them. So whenever I send an AirPlay command, it converts it and sends it to the Chromecast devices as well. For my multimedia, I use the Logitech Harmony. Now this is an extremely old system and I don't think they even still make it anymore. It's probably discontinued at this point, but this is one of the best multimedia hubs that I have used in a long time. Now this thing speaks Bluetooth as well as IR, so I'm able to connect to my projector, my sound system, and all the lights in my media room as well. It has IR and it also has Bluetooth, so it's able to talk to all of my multimedia devices. So I'm able to trigger scenes and activities. So all you need to do is take the Harmony remote, push that button, and then immediately it turns on my projector, turns on the sound system, and sets it to the right input. It can even turn off the lights as well because I set that up within scenes as well. And that same remote was able to connect to my Fire Stick using Bluetooth, and I'm able to control it without having to use the Fire remote. For my door locks, I use the Schlage Encode. There's a newer version which is called the Encode Plus, but the Encode works just fine for me. In fact, Schlage has a very fantastic customer service, so each time I've had issues with this lock, they've sent me replacement parts for free. However, this door lock uses Z-Wave. So I'm able to take this door lock and integrate it into my system using my Samsung SmartThings hub. Samsung SmartThings hub is no longer Samsung SmartThings hub. It's now called the AOTech hub. But this hub essentially speaks Z-Wave and Zigbee. So anything that's Zigbee or Z-Wave related connects to my smart home system using this hub. Although I have the Aqara G3 camera, which also acts as a Zigbee hub as well for any of my Aqara Zigbee devices. I also have some Leviton switches across my house that speak Z-Wave and they all connect to my network using the Samsung SmartThings hub. For my Amazon ecosystem, I still have the Echo Dot 2nd generation. Now this thing is extremely old. it even comes with the auxiliary port, so I can connect it to any old speakers as well. But I don't really use this Echo Dot anymore. I just use it as some sort of a Amazon Alexa bridge. And I also have Sonos speakers. I have the Sonos One SL that's able to also speak Amazon or Google. So I have it primarily running on Amazon right now. For my blinds, I have the SwitchBot curtains. Now this work off of Bluetooth. In order to communicate with them, I have the SwitchBot Hub 2. This talks Bluetooth and then is able to communicate with the rest of my network over Matter. I also have the Philips Hue bridge. I use this to connect my Philips Hue light strip as well as my Philips Hue bulb to my smart home system. Biggest smart bridge I have in my smart home is Home Assistant. Now this probably runs about 65 to 70% of all of my smart home system. The Home Assistant is an extremely powerful tool and very robust as well. With Home Assistant, I'm able to tie to every ecosystem I want and still retain functionalities for the most part. Home Assistant integrates into my Apple HomeKit, integrates into Amazon, and integrates into Google, and it's able to tie all the other bridges, my Logitech Harmony, my Samsung SmartThings, Philips Hue bridge, my Smart Life 2-year bridge, all the different bridges I have across my entire house. They all connect to Home Assistant, and I'm able to then use Home Assistant to act as another bridge to HomePod or Amazon or Google. But a new protocol is coming in right now. It's called Matter. Matter is supposed to solve a lot of these problems, because with Matter, once the device is Matter compliant, it will be able to communicate with any of the smart home systems that are Matter compliant. I'm currently trying out the TP-Link Casa Smart Switch. All I essentially have to do is connect it to one of my Matter compatible hubs. Then I can turn on pairing mode and then connect it to another bridge again. And they all will be able to communicate with this smart switch without any additional software, bridges, hubs, or additional configuration. Another critical bridge that I have running within my home is something called Scripted. Now, Scripted is what I use to convert all of my IP cameras. So everything from Axis, Bosch, Reolink, Wisecam, everything that's IP related, I'm able to port everything into my HomeKit setup using Scripted. Scripted is running on top of a Docker container on top of my server. I have a ton of other Docker containers on my server, like Swag. Swag is basically a reverse proxy. So what that means is that I'm able to use names to access all of my devices from outside of my home. So for example, I have a domain name that I bought from GoDaddy, and I'm able to just type in the website address, and I'm able to access devices within my network using Swag. I also have a Plex server that's running on top of my server as well. And I'm able to just use, again, the name. So I can type my website address from any device outside or anywhere in the world, and I'll be able to access the multimedia on my Plex server. Now, there's so many other things and other configurations I have running in my home, but this is kind of just the general overview. If you have a specific request and like to see something specific on how I installed it, leave comments down in the comment section, and maybe I'll try and make an how-to video on how to install those kind of things. Thank you so much for joining me today on this video, and I hope I've been able to provide a little bit of some insight. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Peace.